Hi, this is Robert Clickybeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. I'm going to take about 20 minutes of your life to deliver some amazing content from accomplished leaders and business owners to help provide you with great Ironman mindset ideas to help you scale your business to become a better leader and push yourself out of your comfort zone. We have now doubled our audience. We really hope you enjoy these shows and really encourage you to like and share with friends, family members, and your network. Based on my book, The Ironman Mindset for Entrepreneurs, I want to try and pull out one insight you could take back from your business on every single show. And ultimately, my goal is to try and make you less mistakes than I did and make your company more profitable. I'm also super excited to share that finally we've gone live with our digital courses on the Wilson 360 website, wilson-360.com. Cheers, everyone. Hi, this is Robert Clickybeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. Really excited to be joined today by Robert Murray. Rob.
Pumped to do this. Let's go, Robert.
Doing okay?
Yeah, man, I'm on the right side of the ground. Life's good.
Yeah, perfect. That's good. So for our audience, tell everybody about your background, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I'll keep it super quick. 17 years, been running Intrigue, a digital marketing company. We started with $0 and myself and co-founder. For the first 5 years, we were in digital out of home. So we put up flat screen TVs in local geographies as an alternative to the local newspaper and radio station. We ended up franchising that, growing it to 7 different communities. And then that built a customer base of people that were advertising on these TVs and hosting these TVs in different local communities. And then from there, with the advent of websites, Google, Facebook, all of our customers kind of dragged us into online marketing, asking us questions like, hey, can you help with our website? My nephew did it at university, but now they've got a full-time job. They're too busy. How do I get to the top of Google? What's this Facebook thing all about? And so we just saw this crazy amount of demand coming from our customer base. So we got into digital marketing, and then we realized how important it is since we started, because everybody in advertising marketing says, well, how do I know it's working? How do I know you're worth your salt? Online marketing brought a lot more transparency to what was working and what wasn't, a lot more measurable. So we really started to double down and grow our team there. And so then in 2017, we started to, I think, maybe get a little smart. We were a jack of all, master of none, local marketing agency, just like everybody else, doing things for everybody. And we were solving Rubik's Cubes every time a customer came on board. So we looked internally and said, okay, well, where are we making money and where are we making customers happy? We realized that the home improvement space was really kind of hands down the spot. Higher average sales, lots of demand. We understood the customer. Our clients were happy to pay us because we were making the money. Our team was good at it, and it was a lot of similarities. Whether you're in interior, exterior renovation, if you're in, landscaping or pools, even roofing, there's a lot of similarities in the terms of the customer decision-making process. And so we started niching, and then in 2019, got a little bit more in landscaping. We had maybe 6 or 7 landscape customers. Went and did a first talk at the Landscape Congress or Landscape Ontario conference in January. And then in 2020, when the whole world went to shit, we got essential workers in landscape. We saw these guys were out there making it happen while everybody was shut down. We're like, hey, maybe it would be worthwhile maybe doubling down on this a little bit. So we went to what was the first Elevate, but still in conjunction with GIE in Louisville, did a talk there, and then just realized that landscapers are kind of our people. We're work hard, play hard kind of folks, literally willing to get their hands dirty, roll up their sleeves and get her done. And then one of the things we really noticed different about landscaping, the openness to share and best practice is something that we haven't really seen. We've been in a bunch of industries, whether it was insurance, it was credit unions and banks. We were in HVAC, windows and doors. Everybody was kind of closed off, and they were guarded even in their peer settings. With landscape, it wasn't like that at all. So we're like, I think this is where we're going to go. We shot a couple bullets, they hit, and then we started firing cannonballs. We've spent the better part of 5 years now, or 4.5, traveling all over North America, meeting landscape entrepreneurs, coaches, and associations to figure out how we can bring more value. And today we're currently sitting at about 130 accounts, of which about 100 of them are landscape customers. We have a bit more of a focus on residential design, build, maintenance, and then probably 30% of our customers are in the commercial space. Yeah, so we're a digital marketing company completely focused on how we can bring more value and help people grow their top line and maybe even their bottom line with sales and marketing.
Yeah, you said a couple of real key things there is, our industry is very much, people are willing to share information and very giving. So 100% agree with that. But the other, I think the important piece you said is you maybe didn't do this the second time, but the first time when you actually examined some of the profitability around some of your accounts, and you decided to focus on service companies, home improvement companies. And I don't think enough companies do that piece, just that self-analysis.
Like looking inwards.
Very much so. Good you did that. So you're obviously now focused on, landscape companies. You've got built up a great client base. What does it typically look like in terms of, when you start to do, I assume you do some type of initial analysis of what they're doing. I'm sure you're probably uncovering some issues or mistakes they're doing, or maybe they're not measuring the right things. Talk through that, maybe that initial analysis you do, and then what that leads into.
There's a talk we do all over the place, which is the 5 marketing mistakes entrepreneurs make in the green industry and how to fix them. And so that is really like how we implement, and I'll get to that in a quick second. When we talk to somebody on the phone just out of the gate, we do a couple of things to try to understand like what we're dealing with. And I guess you could say it's a mistake, but some people get it, but most people don't. There's 2 kind of quick tools we have. One is called GT Metrics, gtmetrics.com. You can go there right now for free. You can put your URL and get a report. All you have to do is enter your email address. They don't really spam you. They're not really meant for that, but they do a good job of giving you an analysis of how well your site's been built from like a structure perspective. Does it load fast? Is there anything slowing it down? Is the code quality good? Is it built in a solid, secure environment? And it gives you a grade, A to F. I've never seen an F. I've seen a bunch of Ds, but most people, when they come to us, they're a C or a D. Sometimes there's a B, so that means the site's been built well. But that's like foundational stuff, because if your site doesn't load quickly, and by load quickly, I mean like, half a second, people leave. And Google doesn't like to show people sites that are slow. There's this really core audience a lot of people forget about, which is the robots. Because if the robots like your stuff, they'll show it to other people. And if people like your stuff, they'll buy. But if the robots don't like what they see, they won't show it to anybody. So it doesn't matter how much people like your stuff, no one's going to see it. So we do that first, and then we go look and we do a very quick cursory competitive analysis using a tool called SEMrush, SEMrush. Now we've built an integration into Google Sheets so that we can do it really quickly. Anybody can do it. You can sign up for free, and you can do a quick competitive analysis. The tool itself is robust and maybe a little bit confusing, but you can get to it if you try. And we do an authority score comparison. So essentially, this goes back to the robot audience, but there's an authority score, there's domain authority, different ways to measure it. There's SEMrush, there's Moz, M-O-Z, and there's also Ahrefs, our websites. All 3 of them are considered leaders in this space. We use SEMrush. Someone can sit there and say it's not as good as the other ones. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. They're all pretty much the same. But what we're looking for is an authority score. An authority score is from 0 to 100. NewYorkTimes.com has an authority score of 100. If it publishes something, Google says it's trustworthy. That's debatable, but whatever. It's an authoritative source of information. When we look at landscapers, we want to see what's their authority score versus the people they're up against, top 3 competitors in their area. What does this do? Well, an authority score on 0 to 100 is going to give us a sense of how much Google trusts them. If Google doesn't trust you, again, they're not going to show you to anybody. Before I start marketing you online, I got to figure out what kind of trust score I've got, and I got to build it up if it's not good. The highest trust score I've seen for a landscaper is 32. The lowest trust score I've seen for a landscaper is 0. If your trust score is, say, an 8 or a 9, which isn't very good, but it's not that bad, and you're up against a bunch of other people that have 8 and 9s, it's even playing field, no problem. You can take a leadership position probably in 12 to 20 months. If you're in like Ohio and you're up against, say, other people that have been around doing this for a really long time and some sophisticated landscapers you may or may not know of that are out there, whatever, any place, if your score is sitting at 8 or 9 and you're up against somebody with a 26, the ability to show up for high value leads and searches is just difficult. So then I'm like, okay, that's going to temper my expectation settings. So I'm going to be like, okay, you're up against a gorilla in your market. We got to find ways to either find, secondary or tertiary services that can help you get found for stuff that's high value, that's got high search intent that they're not going after, or you got to just play the game for the next 3 years. Because a big mistake most people make is they're trying to make marketing generate their success this year. And they've been doing nothing. And now they want it to just rain money. And if we could do that, we would charge a lot more. So people need to look at things. And I love the saying that people often overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5. So few people are looking at things in the quarter and the annum. Very few people are looking at things at 3 to 5 years. And if someone as an entrepreneur can take a 3 to 5 year outlook and start building the foundations of a solid, predictable marketing engine today to then be better tomorrow and be really good in 3 to 5 years, they will smoke. As long as they partner with somebody or hire somebody good, they'll smoke people that are trying to bleed everything out of this year. So long story short, that's initial analysis we do. Who are you up against? What's your trust score? How's your site built?
I mean, how many owners even know this stuff?
Nobody. very few. And even ones that are using marketing companies, like we'll talk to people that have been in SEO. We've been investing in SEO for 3 years. Their site's built out. There's tons of pages. They're optimized for geographies. There's lots of keywords. There's lots of blog posts, but their authority score, which is mostly dependent on backlinks and having assets online everywhere else, not their website, is sitting at a 10. So this is a huge lever that a lot of people miss.
Love it. This is great nuggets so far. What's your next lever?
Well, for the sake of time and the fact that we've only got 15 minutes together, I would say that the biggest thing that people make a mistake about is they talk about themselves. No one gives a shit, pardon my language, but they don't care about you. They care about themselves. So we talk about this very clearly. People, especially customers, care about 2 things and 2 things alone: solving a problem, accomplishing a goal. But 999 sites out of 1,000 talk about themselves. This is who we are. This is how many years experience we have. This is the great equipment we have. Look at our uniforms. Look at our people. Look at me. And no one really cares. And the thing is, if you go from site to site to site, and every site says that, we have good quality. You can trust us. We're reliable. Here are our core values: innovation, communication, reliability. It's all generically similar. Very difficult for a customer to understand if it's a good fit for them. So what we do is we try to flip it. And if you go to our website, you'll see it. Like any website that we build for our clients, we make it about the customer. So we take people from company focused and solution oriented. This is who we are. This is what we do. And this is how we do it, which there's some merit to if done really well. And we say, okay, let's make it customer focused and problem oriented. So we help people understand who their core customers are. And by core customers, there's all sorts of names for ideal customer profile, or we call them A clients, awesome clients, people that love your stuff and pay full price and tell other people about you and smile when they see you. When we start to orient everything around them, they have common problems. And what I mean by that is, and there's a number of different ways to niche. There's customer type. So like some people work in the foo-foo world where, a stick falls in their lawn and they get a phone call to come pick up the stick because they're like, oh my God, I got a stick in my lawn. That's just like, really, really foo-foo high-end property maintenance. Some people are like really just busy professionals. They're like, I don't need you to talk to me. Just make sure everything's done and I'm a happy guy. Some people prefer outdoor entertainment. They want to bring people and socialize in their homes. Some people want something to be peaceful and tranquil. And they have different success ideas, and what their dream state and solution states look like, and the problems they're having now are different. And what do I mean by that? So if you have a person that wants to socialize, they don't really care too much if there's some noise around them surrounding, because they're going to make noise. So when they bring people over, they're listening to music, they're cannonballing in the pool, and they're watching sports games. The landscape that they want is got different implications. Somebody who wants something tranquil and they're in a busy urban or suburban environment, they might want some like high plants and some like subtle water features to make white noise, to like make it so they can't hear the neighbors, but they still want to enjoy peace and tranquility. So like, what kind of customer are you tailing to? Other thing is property types. A super tight urban space in, say, downtown Seattle is going to be much different than like a state place in like the outside in South Carolina. Different properties have different problems. Once we start to understand the type of customer we want to go after, we can start to become experts in the problems they experience before they work with us. And then there's this age-old adage, Zig Ziglar, big throwback. He says, like, if people like you, they'll listen. If they trust you, they'll buy. And then we have this big thing of like, well, you can't say trust me, because that actually elicits, emotions of distrust. So I have to demonstrate trust. I demonstrate trust by walking in your moccasins and helping you understand your problem better than you ever have. Because once I do that, I'm like you. I've done this for other people. I'm going to do it for you. Let me ask you a bunch of questions to demonstrate how well I know this stuff, because you never even thought about it. Let me show you a bunch of case studies or portfolio pictures we've done for other people that have similar problems. And then you have nothing to worry about, because I'm going to make it awesome for you. That's where Google reviews and testimonials and case studies come into play. So long story short, stop talking about yourself, start figuring out who your customers, talk about them, and help them see themselves in your website, in your marketing material. And one of the things that's so remarkably simple, and this is something, an exercise anybody listening to this can do, is if you have a picture of an A client profile in your mind, and usually there's a customer or two that you know of, and you can name them, whether it's Dave and Sue or Bob or Tina, whoever, you just ask yourself a very simple question. Do the images on my website and the vocabulary on my website appeal to those people? And man, is that simple. But like, if you go look, because most of the time people build a website when they're sitting at like $1 million in revenue, they grow to like 7 or 8 or 10. They haven't really changed much. They've completely matured as a business, but they've kind of left everything in the dust. So then when Tina gives word of mouth to her neighbor, Dave, that you've done a great job, and Dave goes to your website and he's just like, I don't know. I mean, Tina's great, but this site looks weird. We got to make sure it all matches.
Talking to a company and they said, oh yeah, we use our website to help with recruitment as well. And I said, that's great. They said, yeah, we'd love to get more women in the business. And I said, well, I just checked your website and there's not one single female on your website. Right. So,
And how simply intuitive is that, right? But we just miss it sometimes when we're busy.
yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, yeah, you're doing some amazing work. Nuggets. One of the things you reminded me of there was we went through a similar exercise where we actually read a book and spoke to Chet Holmes as we, building a sales machine.
Ultimate sales machine.
Yeah, and it was amazing. I mean, it was transformational to our business because it did exactly the same thing. We found out who our core customers were, and then we built a sales playbook and how we, found out the pains and the challenges those people were facing, and then we went in with some amazing presentations to address those concerns. And it really was transformational to us getting a lot more business, building our pipeline. So I can totally relate to what you're just saying.
Well, and so like one of the things is a lot of people know they need to work on their business, not in their business, but they have a hard time finding the time to do it. So when people onboard with us, we just make them go, their onboarding is work on the business. And we just take a personal training approach. So we're not going to be like, okay, you go do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 burpees every day for the next 5 days. We'll see what, how your legs are feeling at the end of the week. We just say, okay, come in. We're going to do burpees together. And when you start interviewing, like all these entrepreneurs, they know it. We just got to get it out of their heads. Guide them a little bit. That's no problem.
I talked to another good friend who does a lot of marketing. And one of the things he told me recently was personalize it more, all about ultra personalizing. Have you seen there just in terms of some of the outgoing messages and
well, especially on the commercial side, like the number one marketing activity in terms of results that we've seen is taking people out for lunch. If you want to get the attention of a landscape architect, a landscape designer, an HOA property manager, or a commercial property manager, you just call them and just say, I'd like to take you and your team out to a lunch at like the best lunch spot. So it's a $500 lunch. I would like to come in at 11:30, give you a quick introduction of what we're all about, and then take you and your team out for the best lunch in town. You up for it? These property managers aren't saying no. It doesn't get much more personalized than breaking bread.
No, that's so true. What other things we've got a couple more questions here, but what other things are you seeing out there in terms of, the market or the marketing piece must be ever evolving. You went through COVID, last year, I think I experienced a lot of noise because of all the election stuff. What type of other stuff are you seeing out there?
Yeah, cool. So I'll answer two ways. They're very polarizing. The first one is marketing is simple. Hang out with where your customers hang out. Like marketing 101, be where your customers are. Just go hang out with these people. Like that's why we do all these conferences and trade shows and talks. Like we just go hang out with everybody. So that doesn't change. Mind you, COVID, it did a little bit because it was tough to hang out. But anyway, long story short, stop overcomplicating, go hang out with people, especially on commercial. It's, especially, but even with residential, like where do the high value people in your neighborhood hang out? They go to fundraisers for the hospital. They go to golf courses and private golf courses and they play golf. If there's a yacht club, they're there. Go be there. So that's first and foremost basics, fundamentals. However, now you get into another world of epicness. So where is it? Yeah, check these out. So the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, have you seen these?
No.
So they're sick. So these are enabled with Meta AI. So I can make phone calls, listen to Spotify. I can take a picture of us. I'll send it to you afterwards. I can take a video recording of the whole thing. The only way you know it is because you can see a light flashing right now. So that way I'm not too much of a creep, but it's still creepy. But what's crazy is I can go, hey, Meta, what's the top 2 landscaping companies near me?
And it'll come up with the answer.
Well, I was hoping you could hear it.
Nah.
Oh, okay. So it's giving me 2 results. Now, I don't know how Meta ranks yet because no one uses Meta for search really, but we're starting to see local business search happen in Instagram. It's going to happen on things like this. ChatGPT's got almost 5% of total search share taken straight from Google. I talked about this last year. In August, September, and October, Google.com went from 84 billion to 83 billion, no, 83 billion, 82 billion to 81 billion page views. Lost 1 billion page views a month from August to October 2024. ChatGPT went from 1 to 2 to 3 billion. Like it was a 1-to-1 takeaway from Google's search share. That has never happened since it started. So what does that mean? Well, people are using different tools to find shit. So it's not about Google optimization. However, Google's the best. So if you optimize for Google, the odds of you being found by other things is strong. But when you look at ChatGPT and what it sources things like Houzz, it sources things like Yelp, it sources things like Reddit, it sources things like Chamber of Commerce, it sources all over the internet, not just websites that are SEO'd. So part of being found in search is being everywhere on the internet. And that's not new. It's just becoming more important. So I'd say that's a big deal.
I could easily spend another couple of hours learning more stuff because I'm fascinated, but I'm sure everybody on the podcast is also fascinated and scrambling to write notes. So, Rob, how do people get in touch with you, find out about your services? Just maybe they're looking at that initial assessment you do. So, what's the best?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the first thing people could do, just go to intrimedia.com, hit resources. We've got blog posts, we've got guides. There's our podcast, the I Am Landscape Leaders, or the I Am Landscape Growth Podcast. There's checklists on there that you can rate your current marketing partner. But like, if you're not ready to like fully reach out, go there, check us out. Like, we've got a bunch of content. We give it all away for free. All the talks we do, even the stuff I'm sharing with you, we bring our customers through this stuff. Like, we just give it all away for free. If you really want, you go under About, you can hit events, come to one of our live events online. I think our next one, we got April 22nd, April 24th, 2025. I'm not sure if this will be out by then, but we're how to make the most of your leads in 2025. So it's all about essentially converting the leads that you do get. But yeah, I'd say intrimedia.com, resources and About events. And then there's calls to action all over the place to book a discovery call. And if you want, if you're ready, feel free. But by no means are we suggesting you do that yet.
Awesome. Robert, been an absolute pleasure today. Thanks for sharing some of your knowledge. Absolutely fascinating. I'm sure people took away a bunch of notes. They should have taken a bunch of notes from you. So we'll be in touch, and I'm sure we'll get you back on as a future guest.
Awesome, Robert. I really appreciate the opportunity to share, man. Thanks so much.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. I'm Robert Clinky-Baird, and I hope today's insights inspire you to push yourself beyond your limits, lead with purpose, and scale your business to new heights. Don't forget to check out our new digital online courses and training programs on the Wilson 360 website, and join the Boss Business Management Software community to optimize your business like never before. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe on YouTube, share it with your network. Let's grow, let's transform the industry together. Until next time, stay inspired and keep striving for greatness. Cheers, everyone.